Y'all want to get nasty with us?
Hell yeah.
Maybe if you didn't spend every night in a club, you'd be able to get some of your work done. Because you can't coast on your good looks and your tight abs forever.
I have been doing sit-ups. Thank you for noticing.
Hey, there are two ladies. What? They in the window. Just to see this is your chance to finally check.
Hey.
You're not into magic, are you, Craig?
Is this your car?
What are you doing?
Enjoying the benefits of a rock and roll lifestyle.
I'm shooting a documentary. I'm calling it Aphrodisiac.
Aren't you a short drink of water?
Aren't you a well-aged scotch?
Call police and the fireman.
Too hot?
Hot damn.
Make a dragon want a retirement.
Break it down.
Craig Robinson is
Let's go again.
Mr. Robinson. August 5th.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special lady in the house tonight.
I love you, Craig.
Not you, baby.
On NBC.
How you doing? What's up, man? Thanks, everybody. Craig, thanks so much for being here.
Hey, thank you for having me. I just, I got to mention this person, Carlton at Joby03, JOBBE03, because I tweeted, I was going on here, and the first person to tweet to me, Craig, I have a bubble bootay, I would mention their name, so there it is. Carlton, you won. Hi, everybody.
This show is based on your life in many ways, right? Or at least inspired by your life before becoming famous.
It's loosely based on my life. It's several things. I was a school teacher in Chicago, so it's set in Chicago. It's set as me as a music teacher, and my band is on the show, the Nasty Delicious. Several of my real band members, not the full band, but and I have a real band named the Nasty Delicious. And Megan Good plays my love interest, and I have a crush on her in real life. So there you go.
So when you go into NBC to pitch this, do you pitch this with all of these elements from your real life in place and say, this is going to be a show that picks a lot from my real life, or did you just have this sort of teacher idea?
Originally when it was pitched, because this is the second go-round with this show. The first one, excuse me, was a single camera, and we went in with a writer who actually used to write on The Office, and yeah, we had this kind of like a two-man show almost, and he would, I opened up and I would like tell stories and funny stuff about what happened as a teacher, and he would like bring it to how we would present it. So I would say like, one time a kid, I don't know, did whatever he did, and then
so you would kind of like start the show talking to the camera, and then you would go into the stories.
No, I was talking about the pitch.
Oh, the pitch, okay.
And we pitched it and we went back and forth, and they bought it in the room, as they say. Wow. So but then we did a pilot a couple years ago, and NBC didn't pick that one up, but then they said we still like the idea, and then the whole format changed, the team changed and all this, and then it turned into what it is now, multicam, and kind of a throwback to the old school. So. Did
it feel good taking it to multicam? Did it feel better, more natural maybe for what you were doing?
It's a big difference. It's live audience is it's a lot more energy. Originally I didn't want it because I do like the single camera, not telling somebody what a joke is kind of thing. But once I got in front of that crowd and we got the music element, the whole band and stuff, and it's just getting that immediate response. It's great.
You're from the south side of Chicago, right?
Correct.
And you were a teacher there as well. I'm kind of curious, when you decided to go into Second City, decided to go into comedy and theater, how did you present that to your friends? How did you come up with that? Were you the only one that was really thinking about doing that at the time?
Yeah, I was in college, and my original intention, I bought a keyboard. I was like, I'm going to be a musician. And I was studying music, and I was like, I'm going to be a singer.
Your mother's a musician too, right?
Yes, yeah. So it's in my blood. Our whole house was like a rehearsal studio. We got piano upstairs, downstairs, drums, everything. So in college, I was like, I'm gonna be a singer. I'm gonna be a musician, and start taking that serious. And all of a sudden, like comedy just out of nowhere just chose me. Like, no, this is what you're doing. And then since I wanted to do music and the silliness wouldn't stop, they kind of found their way to blend together.
Was that like one of those things where you sat down and found yourself trying to write serious love songs, and then all of a sudden they would turn into
Can I have some
versions?
booty or take your panties off? Yes. That's exactly what would happen. Yeah, because I noticed quickly that if I'm playing on the keys and maybe making somebody laugh on the phone or whatever, it was almost hypnotic.
Sort of instantaneous. It's almost a preferable way to entertain.
Exactly, and I would do it at church too. Me playing in the background and making silly faces probably wasn't good.
So you take this to Second City. Are you playing music at Second City, or are you then learning how to perform and act as well?
At Second City, I did the training center for 2 years. Where we just go and you go from level A through E, and then 1A, and all the way up to 5, and it was just basically learning improv, going every Saturday and figuring out how to improv, and getting supposed to get better and better. At level A through E was like kind of let anybody go through, but then once you get to level 1A, they started thinning the herd. So
Did it feel good to not be a part of the thinned herd?
It did feel good. Yeah. It felt like, okay, I'm making progress.
Were you there at the same time as any of the other people that we've known as recently have come out of Second City? Carell, Colbert, anybody like that?
No, I was there after those guys, but I did see like Rachel Dratch and like some people from her crew. I can't think of the names, but like I'll see people who like wrote for Conan or what's the Delocated? What's the guy star Delocated?
Oh, John Glazer.
Yeah, he was on there with them. So I saw some people who come from that.
Right. So at this point, you're coming from college. I assume you said your family has a musical background, but there's no comedy background. Did you feel like you were sort of creating this as you went along? Did you have mentors or anything?
I chose a mentor, and a guy named James Wesley Jackson, who when I was hosting this show about 60 miles outside of Chicago every Saturday in Chesterton, Indiana, and I laughed.
He was hosting, or you were hosting?
No, I was hosting. I would go because as I was teaching. It's funny how stuff came together. And there was this librarian there who like was real quiet, and I just assumed he was kind of mean, like this older white dude, and and I would always talk to the secretary in the library. And we were like cool and stuff. And then when he come in, I'll be all like, oh, I don't want him to get mad at me. One day he overheard me talking about comedy, and his wife worked at this comedy club, this little small resort thing out in Chesterton, Indiana. And he got me in touch with his wife, and then I ended up going over there, and I started hosting the gig. So don't judge a book by its cover.
Especially not a librarian.
Especially not a librarian.
Works with books.
He was just cool and quiet. He wasn't nothing mean about him. So I'm hosting that every week, and I get my chops together, and it was a great experience. I did that for like 2 years.
So you feel like you have The Office, you have some movies, and then you come to this show. You get this show. You get to star in your own show. Is this something that you felt like you were working your way towards this whole time, or suddenly it's like I have an opportunity and I can try this?
I feel like I was working my way to it because I would pay attention to like the work ethic of a Steve Carell or Seth Rogen or somebody, just like notice they got the biggest, nicest trailers, but they never get to be in them because they're always on set. So I knew what it took, and I always could, I could feel this coming. Like we had been pitching this idea for a while because it is, my real life, even though it's not the real life stories, but it is, loosely based. So we had been pitching that when I first came into LA, and then it subsided because things like The Office or whatever, and then the opportunity came back around. So yeah.
How much did your sort of comedy background help you as a substitute music teacher in your real life? Did that sort of ground you with the kids and?
Somewhat. There was one class that had this. They were very, let's let's put it like this. All day they had their teacher and they had a security guard in the room with them, right? Until they got to music, then they just let them loose on me. And it was like, so I had to figure out how to get them. So there were times where we would, I remember getting their attention one time because we started playing the dozens and like going out and from there led to a few minutes of music. But, once I figured out, okay, we can just kind of battle, I get their attention.
They always do that with the arts. They're like, okay, you don't need to pay attention in here. Just go ahead, run free. And art teachers and music teachers are like, what am I going to do here?
Yeah, well, it's completely unfair. But, I figured a way out around it.
Did you have kids, were they possibly your toughest audience sometimes as a comedian? Because you'd think that, like, comedy will calm them down. Like, you're not funny.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a natural. They saw me as, some of them saw me as enemies. I mean, a lot of them, most of them, it was great. It was a lot of love. Some of them, saw you as the enemy. I think the 7th graders were the toughest because they were going into 8th grade and they were just, 8th graders like, I just want to graduate. 7th graders like, get into that. Just feisty. So, and then I think
they're angry. 7th graders are angry.
Angry. And then 3rd going into 4th grade, there's an interesting, like you got to catch them in 2nd, 3rd grade because you can see some switch, go to the dark side. So it was weird.
What do you do as a teacher when you see a kid that you feel like has switched to the dark side? Do you try to pull them back, or do you just sort of try to make sure that they don't affect everybody else?
You just try to, remind them, hey, you were nice before. But yeah, you don't.
One time you were born and you were nice for like a couple minutes there.
Yeah, you always try to, and keep the respect and keep it nice and just do the job. But it's some of them, I don't know, it's tough. I'm glad I'm not teaching anymore.
Let's relive the nightmare right now, Craig.
No, the teaching was cool. Some of them still reach out on Facebook or Twitter or what have you, and say you inspire me and you keep inspiring. So that's really cool to get those messages. And teaching on the TV show is a lot different than teaching in real life, because like you tell the kids, hey, settle down on the TV show, and they settle down because
you run the show.
Well, because they're getting paid.
Yeah. Talk to me. You mentioned Steve Carell. You mentioned Seth Rogen. Outside of them being on set all the time, what did you learn from Steve on The Office all the time, as in terms of being a leader, in terms of running the writers' room, or dealing with writers and the producers and the actors, and being an EP?
He shows respect. He can turn it on and off. Like he knows how to be a normal human being, and then go into that crazy, funny Steve Carell stuff he would do. He always had ideas ready, and improvise. He was just a consummate professional, and he's got. I think a lot of actors have a move or moves. He got his moves that he does. So I just would just pick up little things here and there on how to be a leader.
Is that one of those things that's difficult to be an actor when you work with another comedy actor who doesn't turn it on or off, just keeps it on the whole time? You're like, we have to plan the blocking here. Stop messing around, man.
When I first got into comedy, I remember, and it was like one of the first things I took serious, and I remember talking to a comic, and I was like, how do you do it? How do you write material? And he was all like, and there was nobody here. He's asking how to write material. I'm like, no, seriously, how you? He's serious, and I'm like, no, I'm trying to. So I got it, because people always say, I don't know when to take you serious, Craig, or whatever, or you play too much, whatever. So I saw what I do to other people. I was like, man, so I just got to go figure it out.
So it's basically about not playing until it's time to play. It's like any other job. It's treating the work, even though it's funny and it's comedy, treating it like a job.
Yeah, you gotta, had a work ethic and treat it like a job. But comedy's just a different beast altogether, because in order to get it and get good at it, you got to hit the stage. But to hit the stage, you got to have something to take to the stage. But so you just got to get up there and start talking.
You honestly get up there, start talking with nothing, and then hopefully you can develop that into something.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that plenty of times. doesn't really work for me.
What's the worst that you've ever bombed?
Oh, I was in Chicago. It was a Sunday afternoon, the Regal Theater. It was like all high school kids and maybe a little bit younger, and it was like a talent show, and I got hired for $100 to do 12 minutes in the middle of the talent show, and I went up there, and I mean they were booing like 4 minutes in, and I was like, well, I got to do 12 minutes. So I stayed up there probably a good 3 minutes of booze, and then that's the beauty of having music. I started playing something from the radio, and then they all just said, music soothes the savage beast, and they also started singing along, soon as I get home, I make you love. I just started playing that. I don't know why I came out with the song by Faith. And then I kind of finished out. I'm not sure how I did, but I did my 12 minutes. And he did not want to give me that $100, but I got it.
You had to fight him for the $100?
I had to fight him, but you could tell he was like, grumble, grumble. Hey, man, that was a hard 12 minutes.
How did the executive producer of The Office get involved with the show?
Oh, we came to him, Greg Daniels. We came to him first, and he was all aboard. And we did it, and we did the pilot that NBC did not pick up. And after that, he ended up leaving the project. And then the Cullen brothers came in and revamped and took us over to the multicam part of it. And the Cullen brothers, Mark and Rob Cullen, they did a show called Lucky back in 2002, I think we first did. And I was a regular on that show along with Billy Gardell and John Corbett was the lead. But the Cullen brothers put me on that show. You know, my first show as a regular. So if it couldn't be Greg Daniels, then it was great that it was the Cullen brothers, somebody who knows me, and you know I knew them for so long, and you know they know my act, and you know they were very interested in making sure that my fan base who see me say stuff like "take your panties off," whatever, like they want to make sure that those people got reached and heard my voice.
What is it like for you to develop something that's inspired by your life? I mean, the development process for a TV show is much different than writing your own movie or writing something personal. This is going through a number of executives and dealing with notes and sort of figuring out the best way that it's going to work for their platform.
Yes, it's a lot of notes. It's a lot of but it's the writers create the world, and I bring one of the things we do is writers will write the lyrics to the songs we do, and then I'll take the melody. I'll pick the melody out of that, and then I'll take it to the band and we nasty deliciousize it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's one of the development processes. As far as like developing it and you know which way the show is going, that's all in the writers. You know they'll you know, figure it out. I let them, they create the world, and I just come in and play with it.
You just come in and play. Have you ever had a moment where you've had to sort of step in and say, hey, I think this strays too far from the initial approach or what we were initially trying to do?
I mean, I could, but I haven't. No, we haven't had that moment yet. I just kept asking, could they write in a kiss with Megan Good in every scene? But that didn't work.
Were you a part of casting your supporting parts?
Yes, I was in the room casting. And that's the whole thing in itself because, you know, just being an actor and being on that side of it and watching people come in. The kids come in, and they were fantastic. You know, they were very professional. They weren't trying to schmooze or nothing. They just come in, hi, I'm such and such, and here, I'll be doing the role of this. And they do it, and thank you very much, and they go.
Does that blow you away to meet like a 6-year-old who's super professional at acting and walks into an audition with a headshot? And then
it does blow me away, but we're a little older than 6, but yeah, it was just amazing to watch kid after kid because they were all, you know, phenomenal.
Like I'm blown away by a 23-year-old that has their shit together. You know, I can't imagine like a 7th grader.
Well, these kids were together, so we got some good kids on there. Well, you know, Amanda Stenberg, who's, you know, hard to call a kid. She was 16, but she's incredible, and you know, this kid Dante Brown is going to blow up from this. Ethan Lee is super funny. He plays this odd character. So, yeah, I was in there, on the audition process and, figuring everything. And it was just so, whenever you audition, I always kind of thought this, it's always only one person for the part. You know what I mean? It's always like, you can have really good auditions, but there's always one person like, that's the one, that's Janine right there. Yeah. So that kind of happened too.
You feel like 10 years ago, this show would have had a white male lead, and the conflict would have been like white guy in an inner city school, and how does he deal with it? And we've kind of moved past that, I think, and we're sort of able to deal with comedy and conflict on a much more realistic basis. Do you feel that things are changing in that regards, and that you as this lead and you having the show is a part of the way comedy is changing, the way networks are changing?
It seems to be a beginning of a movement of some sort. There are a lot of shows featuring black leads. Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but there's something happening, and it's good to see. Yeah. It's good to rise up, and it's not just about just about it being black or whatever, but it's good. I'm glad to have this opportunity, to carry that torch.
Absolutely. Let's take some questions from the audience. Right here in the front, passing the microphone to him. Here we go.
Hey, Craig.
Hello.
Hello. So I was wondering if in the show we may see a reunion of Elle Witherspoon and Chucky, perhaps?
Anything's possible. And Jerry Minor is, on a short list of people we want to see be a part of that. So that could definitely be possible. I don't know how much it would be Elle and Chucky, but you might see him in some capacity.
Next question.
Hi.
Hello.
What do you enjoy the most about stand-up comedy?
The first word I thought about is danger. It's there's this thrill to it, and there's a almost, of course not, danger, but there's this like, it's risk-taking kind of aspect to it. I remember being in Chicago and I'm feeling suffocated. It was so weird because I was like, I got to get out. I got to take a risk. I got to do something. And then I was like, I'm going to go bungee jumping. And then I just chose comedy instead.
How close did you get to actually bungee jumping?
I probably drove about 10 minutes down the freeway and changed my mind. It was in Wisconsin. And I was in Chicago. I said, I'm not going bungee jumping. But I was doing comedy at that time, and I think that's what made me like, I got to go to LA. I got to see what this is about, because I just won this contest, and then they were saying that such and such, another guy who came in who didn't win, they were saying, he's getting representation from it. I was like, what? I won. So. That's before I knew how things worked, though. You can't be worried about another man's stuff.
You're still pissed off about it.
Damn it.
Next question.
Hi, can you share any funny moments from on set of Mr. Robinson?
Hello.
Thanks.
Funny moments. Let me think. Gosh, I hate this question. Because I get it, people always like, or did somebody play pranks on set? I don't remember. Trying to give you something good. Can we come back to that maybe?
What about The Office? Like one of the things that I love about The Office is watching the blooper reels on YouTube. It always seemed like everybody was always breaking and laughing all the time.
It wasn't all the time.
I mean, no, you guys are still good, but
you definitely had those moments where you get caught up in the silliness of it, and it gets uncontrollable. But, yeah.
Who broke the most on that show?
The most? I can tell you who broke the least was Oscar. Like they would always it was a thing to try to get Oscar to break. And then I think he broke a couple of times, but that was when we celebrate. But yeah, he was the one who wouldn't break as much. I don't know who broke the most. Maybe Kevin.
Next question.
another moment question. What was your craziest moment on set of a film, like let's say Hot Tub Time Machine, or?
Well, I'll tell you this, and this is the end.
Love that movie, by the way.
Thank you. They were. I had a run, and I had the time when Jonah caught fire, and he was chasing us. Like I had to stand there and scream and let the dude come. So I had to time it just right, so that we both were in a shot. I get to scream out and then run without him burning me. So that was crazy. And Pineapple Express, when I get hit by the car, the Daewoo Lanos, the car was coming straight. The camera was coming at me 90 miles an hour, like to give the effect of a car going 90 miles an hour. So every time the car, I think one time I didn't do that, but every other time it was like, and it would stop and it would swing. So I guess the craziest are the ones where I'm in physical harm.
Was Pineapple Express the first time you worked with Danny McBride?
First time I worked with Danny was Pineapple. Yes, I met him on. I was doing Knocked Up, and he came on set, and we didn't talk too much then. But so when I saw him on Pineapple, we said our hellos and stuff, and then he started improvising. I was like, who's this motherfucker? He was crushing it. Yeah. So we became buds.
And what was, you had a reoccurring character on Eastbound, I think one of the best characters on that show.
Reg Macworthy.
Did you improvise a lot on that set? And actually, there's a really amazing blooper of you and Danny McBride breaking when Will Ferrell's whispering in your ears about sleeping with his wife.
Yeah. What he said, my plums. I can feel it in my plums. Yeah, Will.
My son Gabriel.
Will is like that was he's wants to break you. He's trying to destroy you. And so you got Will doing that, and then you got Danny and I staring at each other's eyes, and just a little and we supposed to be like a face-off, and just you see a little this, and it was over. So yeah.
I think at one point Danny McBride looks, he's like, "Don't do it, motherfucker."
Yeah. We both was like, I couldn't take it.
Was that show a lot of fun to work on?
Oh, Eastbound, yeah, it's great. I think it was part of North Carolina.
Seems like you could go as sort of dark with the comedy as you wanted to go on that show. Like there were no limits.
They didn't mess around with that. They just HBO, McBride. It was fun, and yeah, it was loose, and yeah, we did a bunch of improv and messing around and stuff. So you get with those cats. Some of these cats. In fact, most of the comedy projects I do, it's almost improv required. So it's so get your improv together, y'all. If y'all going out there, hit those improv classes, because you want to be prepared for that.
Do we have another question?
Hi, Craig. So years back, you won the Oakland Comedy Festival Award. At that time, did you think the success could spread to something as large as having your own television show?
What she's referring to is the Bay Area Black Comedy Competition. It's in Oakland. And when I got that, it had gone, I did the 10th year, and I won that year. And I heard about it 2 years prior and I was doing comedy, and Corey Holcomb, I think, had won. And so the next year, I was looking to get in it, and I didn't hear anything about it. They didn't have it, and I was kind of bummed out. So the following year, out the blue, I got a phone call inviting me to be on this contest. And I was very excited because D.L. Hughley had done it, Chris Tucker, so I knew that it was esteemed, and I knew, so to answer your question, I thought this could lead to something, is what I thought. Thought it'd be good to be in that company. Not even really focused on winning at the time, just to get in it. And then once I got in it, I was like, I think I will, I think I will win this thing. I remember, because you went through pre-rounds, and then a month later was like the finals. They had 6 finalists, and that was the first time I ever fasted. Like I just ate fruit and water, and I realized for me the point of fast is like, since you're so hungry, why am I so hungry? Because I'm fasting. Why am I fasting? Because I'm focused. So that was the first time I had done that. I haven't done it in a while.
I was just gonna ask, when did you do that? Like on the first taping of the show or the pilot or anything, or is that just that time and you did it?
I did. No, we didn't do it. Now I meditate before I go up or do something. Try to get centered.
Someone just wooed for meditation.
Meditation!
That's not the first time that's happened to me when someone said meditation on stage. Woo! It's nice that we like meditation. Craig, I think that's all we have time for, man. Thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Craig, when does the show air? When can people see the show?
Tomorrow, Wednesday, August 5th, 9 p.m., 8 p.m. Central on NBC.
Check
They're
it out.
going to show 2 this week, next week, and the week after.
Awesome. Craig, thank you so much.
Hey, my pleasure.
Really nice talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you.